Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we give out our end of season awards: Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Transfer of the Year, Freshman of the Year, MVP, and also Ohio State University has dethroned the University of Texas for the softest move in college football history. Let's get it. Let's go.
Squad.
Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota store. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR.
Kind of sounded like a didgeridoo at the end there.
It did. Someone sampled that and turned it into a beat or something, please.
For real.
Lots to get to today. We had to have no time to mess around. It's a very serious show.
Okay. I was made for this.
Let's start with our 2024 end of season awards for Coach Prime and the Buffs. We got 9 of them, boys.
You don't want to like bullshit for a few minutes before you get into this?
Oh, what's on your mind, man?
Go ahead.
Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Trench Player of the Year,
Right
Freshman of the Year, Transfer of the Year, Position Coach of the Year, Play of the Year, Moment of the Year, Game of the Year, and MVP. Starting off with Offensive Player of the Year. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
So nobody was off limit. We should probably say that, right? Nobody
No
was
one's
off
off limits here.
for this one. All right. Good to know.
Everyone's on the table.
That's what the
Say less.
Heisman trophy should do. They should be like, all right, most outstanding player in the country. You can't use Travis. So it's too obvious.
I'm dead.
They should.
Okay, Offensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna pick Shedeur Sanders. I think obviously you could give this to Travis, and of course, I forgot what phrase I made up for them. I made up a term for them, but the Genty people, they want to point out the fact that Shedeur Sanders, being the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, is a knock on Travis's Heisman campaign. But that's just really short-sighted, and I think completely misses the point here. And a lot of his attempt to like devalue one or the other, you just don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to devalue Kobe to talk about how great Shaq is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so these two are Kobe and Shaq for this offense. And I give it to Shedeur because I said it in several games. I don't think this team won this game with any other quarterback in the country outside of Shedeur Sanders. And so for that, he's my Offensive Player of the Year. Had a generational season as far as a Colorado quarterback goes. Probably will go down. Actually, will leave school as the greatest quarterback in school history.
Mm-hmm.
And he deserves the recognition for that. So he's my Offensive Player of the Year.
I 100% agree with you, my guy. I'm going with the best quarterback in college football as my Offensive Player of the Year for the Buffs. Shedeur Sanders, I mean, what he's done the last 2 seasons, but in 2024 in particular, is this stuff that NFL GMs need that they want, in their respective city. I mean, the accuracy that Shedeur put on display week in and week out, 74% completion this season. I mean, we said it maybe 5 or 6 games of 70 plus completion percentage this year. I mean,
He had multiple over 80?
I think, yes, definitely. Which is unreal, especially for somebody who throws the ball as much as Shedeur Sanders does, who takes care of the ball as much as Shedeur Sanders does over the last 2 seasons, while being as sacked, as hit, as pressured as he has been over the last 2 seasons. I think Unc said it at some point this season, and it's very true. Like, You take Shedeur Sanders off the Colorado Buffaloes in 2024. How many games do they win?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let y'all decide. You know what that number is, but and then again, if you take Travis off, again, this is a point that Unc made that I agree with. You take Travis off this team, at least offensively, right? He just plays DB, for example. I think this offense will still hum quite a bit with the receivers that we saw, you know, on the field for the Buffs this year, and obviously with Shedeur calling the shots and his mobility as well, the escapability, the ability to pull, make something out of nothing, pull a play out of thin air. Basically, he does it better than anybody in the country. Offensive Player of the Year for sure.
Yeah, it's Shedeur. It became like routine at some point in the year, just like him going out there throwing for 72% completion, over 300 yards, multiple touchdowns. And I think a lot of that greatness was taken for granted at a certain point, but now that we look back and you look at the final numbers, not final actually because he's got a bowl game, but he's going to hit 4,000 yards. Yep. He's going to finish damn near 75% completion. He's at 74.2. 4 games over 80% completion, which is outrageous.
Yep.
35 touchdowns to 8 interceptions with 4 rushing touchdowns. He's going to have 40 touchdowns.
There was a long stretch there, and I think it went all the way till last year, where Colorado hadn't had a quarterback that threw 20 touchdowns in a season.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 35 this year.
Yep.
He's 1 away from breaking the all-time passing touchdowns record at Colorado in just 2 years.
Wow.
He's remarkable, and I only bring this up because of the things I heard in the stands. I think when I'm on Buffs Twitter or I'm in the chat, like I think all of these people truly appreciate him, but I hope all the other people truly appreciated Shedeur Sanders, because the whining and moaning and bitching I heard in the stadium, the 1 to 5 times a game where he didn't have an amazing play,
I know, dude.
just drove me fucking crazy. So no matter what, it's going to, even if Juju's amazing, he's not going to be as good as Shedeur was next year as Shedeur was this year or last year.
No.
Like he's an all-time college quarterback. It would be a bummer to me if people didn't fully appreciate that.
For sure. Defensive Player of the Year is Travis Hunter for me. He won a game for them on defense, a game that really kind of catapulted the start of their run with that Baylor win. Also, new picture, by the way.
Oh, that's clean.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yep.
That's such high def.
I know. He had this moment right there in the UCF game with a crazy interception. 11 passes defensed. He was the best cornerback in college football, and he was the guy who just made Colorado's defense work. The Arizona game didn't really show it, but like the K-State game, when he was out, their defense just collapses when he's not in there. So he's the Defensive Player of the Year.
For me, I'm going with the heart and soul of this defense, Cameron Stillman-Craig. He should have been honored by the Big 12 and the season awards. He was snubbed, but this young man obviously led the team in total tackles, led the team in solo tackles. I don't know if there's any defensive back in the country that I would trust in a one-on-one situation to get a ball carrier on the ground more than Cameron Stillman-Craig. He's a model of consistency. He's the ultimate leader. And yeah, I mean, again, heart and soul of this defense. I'm giving it to Cam.
I love it. I got to go Travis. Could very easily go Cam. I just don't know if I remember ever seeing a player in college football that altered the way the offense played every single week as much as Travis Hunter did. Obviously, I wasn't watching super closely when Champ Bailey was at Georgia, but I'm assuming it's similar impact. Like every week, teams went into the game just being like, okay, well, number 1 receiver's out this week.
Yeah,
he might as well be injured.
Yeah,
except he's out on the field too.
Yeah.
So that type of impact, I think, is just incredibly rare at the college level, and that alone just makes him the Defensive Player of the Year for me. And then not to mention, the acrobatic plays and all of the diving breakups and interceptions and all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Trench Player of the Year.
Trench what of the year?
Trench Player. Scotty,
Trench baby.
do you want to correct me?
Trench baby. I'll go. Trench Player of the Year, Trench Baby of the Year, as it's more affectionately known, is our lineman pick of the year, whether offensive, defensive lineman. I'll start. My Trench Baby of the Year is Jordan Seaton, because he's actually a trench baby, a literal baby. The true freshman, the on-3 freshman All-American. I mean, I don't think It's hard to describe and fathom how a true freshman, albeit a 5-star true freshman, can immediately walk onto a college football roster and be the best offensive lineman on the field from week one. And that's no shade to the rest of the offensive linemen on the Buffs because there are some talented ones. But Jordan Seaton is everything you want in a 5-star offensive lineman, everything you want in a left tackle, everything you want in a blindside protector of your franchise quarterback. And that's what Jordan Seaton has been pretty much since week one. I mean, there hasn't been really a lull. He's had some penalties, but he has been locked down at a position of dire need, especially after last season. Jordan Seaton is my trench baby of the year for sure.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I'm going block bully, and I think Jordan Seaton is a fantastic answer. I don't really think you can go wrong here. And quickly, just on Jordan Seaton, I kind of think that like he's going to be one of the people that take the torch as a leader moving forward. You know, he comes from like inside that circle of guys.
That's facts, bro. Like, quick question. Moving forward next year, who's the face of the team from a player perspective? Obviously, Coach Brown's always going to be the face, but
yep. I mean,
Seat?
Seat's going to be up there for sure. Juju, I think, automatically as a quarterback.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Seat is.
It's a good point.
Starting next year, you're going to start seeing Jordan Seaton be talked about as a future first-round NFL pick. And I know we've already seen it a little bit, but that whole thing, like, you're going to start hearing some crazy comps for Jordan Seaton as soon as next year. Anyways, I'm going block bully because if you remember last year, one of this team's biggest weaknesses was stopping the run. Mm-hmm. And they got bullied a lot of games up front. And it just made it so hard. We saw, like, unfortunately, in the Kansas game, what it does to your offense when your defense can't get off the field. Mm-hmm. You know, that the offense in the Kansas game was damn near perfect. It wasn't good enough because they just couldn't get out there enough.
Right.
And so because of that, I go with block bully because I felt like he really changed the interior of the defense. And I think you could absolutely go with Nakai Hill Green here too. But I feel like it starts up front and going all the way back to the North Dakota State game. I just remember watching like early on in that game and just being like, thank God. Like, it's different this year. We're not just getting pushed around up front. And I just loved the kind of presence that he brought to the field every single week.
It's Jordan Seaton. He completely changed the complexion of Colorado's offense and their offensive line when he signed on the dotted line last year. A lot of people said he wouldn't be able to do that, but when you're able to scheme off of just a statue, like monument at left tackle that's just not going to allow anyone to get through. I mean, yeah, he had his penalties and stuff, but for a true freshman, he was insanely impressive and was easily the trench player of the year for me.
There was not a single matchup in the whole year where you said, like, oh, man, Jordan's outmatched today.
Yeah. No, not once. And that's just so impressive to me, the consistency that he showed week in and week out. It was never a worry. I don't think we went into any game where it's like, Jordan might have a tough one this weekend. Yep. Not once.
Actually, this is a testament to Jordan. Maybe the one time he looked outmatched was in the spring game.
For sure. He did.
Because there's probably the best edge rushers he went against all year, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, he was even going against the twos most of the time.
Yeah.
And
that had Arden Walker and Tajay McCoy.
That's true. But like, for him to go from that in April to lock down from September, all the way through the season is just remarkable. He did such a great job.
Freshman of the year, I will go with Drelon Miller. Of course, Seaton is in there. Of course, Cash is in there. But Drelon, it's just showing this trend that Colorado is, over the last 2 years, it's popping up. These freshman wide receivers are the real deal, man. They come in, they have the body type ready to contribute right away. They're able to get on the same page with Shedeur. The last 2 seasons in Omari Miller and Drelon Miller. And he finally had a bit of a breakout game, I think, later in the year. I can't remember. Was it
Utah?
I don't think that was hardly scratching the surface for what Drelon Miller can possibly do.
So I'm telling you, the Drelon Miller Wildcat next year.
Yeah, man. The boy is versatile. He can do everything, including playing quarterback. I would love to see that. And that's my pick as well, Jake. I'm going with Drelon Miller as my freshman of the year as well. Every Buff that had more receiving yards than Drelon Miller this season has been playing college football for at least 3 years.
And they're all gone.
So again, Drelon Miller being able to not only crack this lineup, this very talented lineup of receivers as a true freshman, but make an impact. And again, he cracked it as early as week 1. I'll remember the first offensive play of the season.
Yep.
Drelon Miller touched the football against North Dakota State. That says a lot about the preparation he put in preseason and obviously being consistent throughout the week, throughout the season. And again, like you said, Jake, that 100-yard game against Utah where he bullied some boys near the goal line.
The way he was shaking off those tacklers, bro.
I mean, another year in the strength and conditioning program under Coach Reyes is going to be scary for the rest of the Big 12. But right now, Drelon Miller, my freshman of the year.
Yeah, and I'll make this one quick since we just named him, but I'm going Jordan Seaton. I just want to say, because you just said it, another year in the strength and conditioning program. Imagine what this guy's going to be.
And look at the transformation from December to now.
I feel like just something about these last 2 years has made everything feel like it exists in a 1-year vacuum. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just everything's moving so fast.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, you just forget that Jordan Seaton was a freshman who transformed his body a lot in just 4 months.
Yeah.
Literally.
Imagine what he's going to be able to do over the course of 3 years.
Yep. All right, let's take our first break. Then we'll wrap these up. We got a lot to get to, so you guys got to...
That's why I went fast on that one.
Say less.
Well, for the other ones. Shout out to the homies over at Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying all your tickets over at Game Time. We got a bowl game coming up, obviously. Hit up Game Time if you're trying to meet up with us in San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl. There's a few more Broncos games out here, NBA, NHL. It's all in full swing right now. And concerts and events as well. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time. Also, shout out Bet365, where you can get over there and get in on all of the action. Sports are just more fun when you have action. That's just the truth.
Facts.
So get over there. Use the code DNVR365. Bet $5. Deposit $10. Bet $5 of that. As soon as that bet is settled, you get $150 in free bets. Deposit into your account, and you can spread them out however you want. You can make $150 $1 bets. You can make one $150 bet. However you want to do it. But it's a lot of fun. So give it a try. Go over and use that code DNVR365. Get your $150 in bonus bets and get in on the action whenever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 and older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Transfer of the year.
I'll go.
A lot of candidates here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go LeJohntay Wester.
No, you did. No, you would not. I know damn well you're not.
I'm definitely going to LeJohntay Wester.
That's crazy.
That's why I decided to go first.
That's wild.
He was everything we said he was going to be, and maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah.
I just remember talking about him after we watched the film and just being like, he's going to be a reliable option for Shedeur to go to on third down. He's going to be able to take advantage of all of the attention that Travis Hunter is going to get. He's a guy who can run you a really crisp route at the sticks and make the catch. He's also a guy who can just get the ball in his hands and take off and go. Those were all the things we said about him. And then he just did it. There was no difference between LeJohntay at Florida Atlantic and LeJohntay at Colorado. And it was just so awesome to see. Thankfully, by the end of it, we even got the punt return. Yeah. I think that having a second receiver as reliable as he is made a big difference for this offense this year.
I don't even got to say too much about my boy, but I'm still probably going to say a lot. LeJohntay Wester, dead ass, is one of the best college football players I've ever seen with my own two eyes. The stuff that he did this season, week in and week out, abusing defensive backs week in and week out. We said it at some point this season, if you just sit there during a Colorado game and watch LeJohntay Wester, you going to watch this young man go to work and consistently get wide open. He makes plays after the catch. He gets in the box in the end zone and he turned up, he dancing, and I'm turned up too right with him. Every third down, every time a big play, a big completion needed to be had, Shedeur was looking at number 10, and number 10 more times than not came through. LeJohntay Wester, my dog, my transfer of the year.
I'm with King Mars. I'm going to Kai Hill Green. And I'm going to shout out BJ Green here too, because I was hoping one of you guys would pick Nakai so I could pick BJ. But BJ came in and did exactly what he was supposed to do. Led the team in sacks, gave him a pass rush, tied with Nakai in TFLs on the season with 12. He also had 2 forced fumbles, but Nakai Hill-Green, after that Nebraska game when he came in and was a staple of the lineup, just instantly an impactful player. He was not 100% a lot of the year, played through a lot of that. It just shows the type of player and character and leader that he is. So Nakai Hill-Green, 12 TFLs, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 82 total tackles.
Another guy who was exactly who we thought he was.
Yep.
And probably more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Position coach of the year.
Oh, man.
This is tough. This is probably the toughest one, to me at least.
Position coach of the year is going to go to... I'm going to go with Coach Hart.
Wow.
I think that those linebackers were so transformational for this defense once they got the mix right out there. And the way that they played was just really impactful. Like, other teams had to feel those linebackers every week that they were out there.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the inability to stop the run last year and how hard that made it on the team. Obviously, bringing in Nakai Hill-Green was huge, but that room wasn't like overflowing with great players. And I thought that coaching staff, especially Coach Hart and Coach Hilo as well, did a great job getting those guys ready to play.
That's a good pick. Coach Mathis would be my second pick. I mean, what he did with those defensive backs, particularly what he did creating the red zone packages week in and week out, making this defense one of the best red zone defenses, the best red zone defense in the Big 12, deserves a shout to Coach Mathis. But my pick was Coach Coach Jason Phillips, the receivers coach. I mean, being able to kind of
manage
so many talented guys in that receiver room, managing a lot of mouths that want to be fed. Again, there's a lot of talent in that room. Injuries hit that room at certain times as well. But that receiving room was always locked in, always making plays, and not just catching the football, but blocking as well. And I think that comes from the top down, where you have to instill in your receiver room that if y'all don't block, y'all not getting the football. And we saw that quite a bit. It was part of the reason the running game was a bit more improved this year compared to last. But, we saw a lot of those guys out on the perimeter, making plays down the field and obviously helping out in the run game with the block. So I think Jay Phil would be my pick right there for sure.
And that's a great one, too, because it's kind of the opposite of what I was saying in terms of the level of talent that you have.
Right.
But at the same time, that creates its own challenges.
Exactly.
And I feel like, at least from what we could see, there weren't like a lot of guys complaining. Everyone was very bought into their role.
100%. And again, I think that's a reflection of coaching for sure.
Yep.
The answer is D-Lou, Coach Sapp, and Dancy.
Well,
you gonna pick 3?
That's coaches of the year.
Well, I mean, they are all in the same room now. What do you want me to do?
I want you to pick one. No, I'm just kidding. They all deserve credit.
They all do deserve credit. And last year, the 2023 Colorado Buffaloes finished the season with 69 tackles for a loss and 27 sacks. The 2024 Colorado Buffaloes finished the year with 92 tackles for a loss and 37 sacks. That is a dramatic jump in production from the defensive line, and it's one of the reasons why this defense was so good. They could get after the passer, they could stop the run. Those guys, literally, they changed the culture for what it means to play defense at Colorado.
Great pick.
Didn't somebody come up with a nickname for those 3?
I don't know.
With their initials or something? No? Yeah, I didn't hear. Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about. Obviously, there was the law firm of Hill, Green, and Bentley.
Right. It was the coaches, though. It was like D-Lou, Sapp, and Dancy. Somebody came up with a cool
right.
nickname for those 3. I'm going to try to
Play
track
of the
that
year.
down.
The football play of the year.
I think we should be in unison on this one.
I feel like there's only one.
Are we?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, you looking like we not. I think it's obviously the Hail
Mary, yeah.
I mean, LeJontay Wester coming down with that football. Yeah.
It's the Travis hit.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. LeJontay Wester coming down with that football. Shedeur buying time, rolling out to his left and throwing that ball exactly where it needed to go to, send that game into overtime. And obviously, to make way for the play that you're about to talk about with Travis. I mean,
LSD.
Again, this season that is what it was.
That's fire.
That is what it was. But I mean, again, if that play doesn't happen, if that Hail Mary doesn't happen, this season is looked at completely different if the Buffs lose that game to Baylor at home.
Yeah, I mean, Travis's play on the goal line is incredibly memorable. It can't happen without the Hail Mary.
Exactly.
Or whatever you guys want to call it, because I know anytime we call it a Hail Mary, people get upset. I think of this season, I will remember most the feeling I had when that ball landed in LeJontay Wester's hands. Like, this combination of relief and elation and it was just an overwhelming feeling. And the sound of the crowd, like, I always tell you guys I live for like a real crowd pop, and that was like as good as you'll ever get, and probably the best I've ever heard at Folsom Field. So,
thanks.
Incredible play.
It's the Baylor hit. It has to be. It catapulted Travis's Heisman campaign.
True.
Literally, if Travis makes that hit like 3 inches before where he did, Baylor ties the game and we go to another round of overtime. Instead, he just ends it right there, starts the whole Heisman campaign, has an impact play on defense to win the game. It wasn't a pick 6, but it was damn near close enough to be that. It's one of the best plays I've ever seen.
We've got one more game to get our Travis pick 6.
We do.
Please, Retzloff, give him a chance.
Moment of the year. So not play of the year, just the moment of the year.
So
this is our case.
Yes.
So blame me, Scotty.
I was going to say,
I explained this to Jake as like, a play is a play. It could be like, you could have picked Travis's catch against Utah as the play of the year.
I hear you.
A moment is like a vibe, a feeling. It could be a quote at a press conference. You know, you could go all the way back to the fall.
Okay,
what's that called? Media day press conference.
Right,
that was a moment.
I'm with you.
So I'll let you guys.
I have my pick.
All right.
It is a play. But watching Cameron Silman-Craig return that fumble against UCF is the moment of the year for me. Because that guy, he hasn't really had plays like that. And just to have that happen to him in that moment and how monumental that game was, I just remember being so happy for him in that moment. And it's going to be a play that I really remember the most from this season.
I just thought of this a moment. It's not from a game or play, but after the CSU game when Shedeur and Travis walked in with the whole offensive line to the post-game press conference, that was a moment. That was vibe. Because I'll be honest, and I feel like a lot of people probably felt this way, after that Nebraska loss, I feel like there were a lot of people that were unsure about how the next few weeks and months were going to go. But when the Buffs took care of business and put BTA on the Lil Bros up there in Fort Collins, and then Shedeur and Travis walked in with the whole offensive line, I felt at that moment, I'm like, this is different. This team is different, and obviously we saw what happened after that, but that'd be my moment.
I've got 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
One honorable mention to Shedeur not shaking Braden Fowler-Nicolosi's hand after the game. That was epic. Honorable mention to Braden Fowler-Nicolosi trying to too small Travis Hunter, because that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
That picture's classic.
But my true answer for this is after Travis's last touchdown, which will go down as his last play that he ever played in Folsom Field, the crowd erupting into a Heisman chant.
Yeah.
Just got goosebumps just thinking about it right now. Like, that's a true moment to me. That's something that we'll remember forever. Hopefully it goes right alongside, the actual trophy. But that was like just a cool expression of just like the fans appreciating arguably the best player to ever put on the black and gold.
I take my pick back. Shout out to Cam, but it's the moment of the year is the stadium singing "Happy Birthday" to Peggy.
Oh shit!
That's what the moment of the year.
That was elite. I like Jermaine's answer as well. Jake holding up that giant rib in the barbecue spot in Texas is a moment too.
We have 2 more. We're not doing a great job here, guys.
I feel like we were doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, we're all right.
We have so much actual news to get to.
This is fun. We're having fun.
It is fun.
You got a date?
Right.
No, I just
I was going to say, I'm having dinner with you tonight.
I want to talk about the actual news. Game of the year.
It's obviously Baylor. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been at a game like that. Certainly not in person, but even just watching a college football that had the twists and the turns and the 2 plays that we just talked about, the Hail Mary going into overtime, the game ending on a forced fumble. And that game had everything you want out of a college football game. I'll remember that one forever. I'm not going to lie.
So in terms of the best game, I think that one is obviously. But just for the sake of being a little different,
Sure.
I'm going to choose the UCF game, and it's because it was this team's like arrival.
Yeah.
Their announcement to the country that like, no, we're not. This isn't the same team as last year. This team is different, and like I feel like it all happened so fast during the season that people forget like what the people thought of that team before that game. You know, they had beat North Dakota State, they had beat Colorado State, they had lost badly to Nebraska. They're 14.5-point dogs going on the road to UCF. And people just thought that's the same old team, and then they put BTA, and it was game over.
Bro, 14-point underdog going into that game.
14.5.
It's crazy.
Scotty's right. It's the Baylor game, though. It reminded me so much of the CSU game the year before, where it was almost like improbable, and then they just pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Your great players show up and made plays. It's Baylor for me.
And it also makes that game better, too, because Baylor is a good football team.
Damn right they are.
8-4 football team that, again, was a Hail Mary away from being 9-3. That adds to it as well. It was a hell of a win.
UCF was a good football team before Colorado broke them into a million pieces.
Let's take our next break, and then we'll do MVP after. Shout out to our friends over at Empire Today, protecting us from the messy Marvins in the office.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know that was a whole ad campaign at one point.
Yeah.
I learned after that. Yeah, I saw people on Twitter.
Or like chocolate
Talking
milk
about
or
it.
something.
No free ads, bro. We're doing an Empire Today read.
Go get it.
Shout out Empire Today for redoing the floor in the studio. Hit them up, though. Whether your home or business needs a new floor, Empire Today, the best in the business. And you can schedule a free in-home consultation to have their professionals go out and check it out. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount also when you use the promo code DNVR. Some restrictions apply, so head on over to empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
Also, shout out to Elevations Credit Union. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they are home of the sexiest credit card in world history.
Wow.
World history, folks.
Congrats, Elevations.
They've got two different versions of it. They've got the gold with the black buffalo, like you see there, or the black with the gold buffalo, my personal favorite. Either way, though, when you get the SCO Buffs or the Go Buffs Visa Signature Rewards card, you are going to be able to benefit Colorado Athletics every single time that you swipe your card. It's a pretty cool thing and a great way to have a cool-looking credit card that also helps out the Buffs. So go to buffscreditcard.com to apply and see full card benefits and details. What are you guys giggling about over there?
I'm not even giggling. That's him. That's him this time.
You been living well before the show or what?
No. I just saw a funny tweet.
I saw that earlier, too,
This
bro.
is
That's
so good.
That's wild. I thought that was real at first. I'm
I
like,
might
no way.
retweet it. MVP of the year.
Should we just all say it on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Travis Hunter.
Shador Sanders.
Oh, my.
Are you serious?
What are you
What
doing?
you guys just said when we did Offensive Player of the Year. You take him out of the equation. How many games do they win?
But that's one side of the ball, broski. I get that, but
Come on, bro.
come on, bro.
You guys are really going to do this right here?
Bro, it's Travis, bro. He's obviously the most valuable player
All right,
to
I
this
was
team.
wrong. It's Travis.
Thank you.
It's Travis.
I know what you're talking about, though. It's just Travis Hunter impacts the game at a higher percentage of snaps than anyone ever.
Right. It's out there every play of the game, pretty much. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
Let's get to news. We got a commitment yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Buff Nation rejoice. We got a kicker.
Let's
Elliott
go.
Arnold is committed to the Buffs. He's rated a 5-star kicker by Cole's Kicking Camps and is up for a handful of awards for being one of the best high school kickers in the state of Tennessee. And he can definitely kick the ball at the damn end zone.
Let's go. Go.
Coach Prime told y'all last week, what was that, right after the Oklahoma State game, that he already addressed that kicks will be going through the end zone next season in 2025. And again, that's a big deal, especially when you're talking about field position, because special teams have to be special. When you're getting the ball, when you're getting a return, that's a momentum builder for the opponent. So if you can, nip that in the bud by, kicking it through the end zone, that'd be big time.
Jehiem Oates is coming on a visit this week. He's now received 3 crystal ball predictions to commit to Colorado. One from David Johnson, who's the Ole Miss insider at 247. Matt Zenitz and Chris Hummer, national writers and reporters for 247 Sports, have also predicted he will commit to Colorado. Again, one of the best players in the transfer portal. 6'5", 320 pounds.
Big fella.
The Buffs are getting bigger.
Every time I hear his name, I just think of that Jay-Z Otis Redding beat. Because Otis, Jehiem Oates.
Yeah, I hear you.
It just plays in
That's
my head.
that. Yeah.
Former FIU wide receiver Eric Rivers is coming on a visit to Colorado.
Baller.
This guy is a legit baller, man. He is coming to visit December 21st through the 22nd, so 2 weekends from now. Was first team All-Conference USA in 2024 with 62 receptions, 1,172 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Listed at 5'11", 175.
He's making a few visits over the next couple weeks, right?
Yes, he is.
Very highly sought after.
And I think Colorado's getting the last one.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Philip Houston, put that word into your boy, man. Tell him to slide.
let him know.
Oh, it never hurts.
Oklahoma center Joshua Bates is visiting Colorado as well, too. A Colorado kid. He's from Durango High School in Durango, Colorado. He started 2 games at center for Oklahoma last year and was a 2023 4-star recruit. Played, I think, in 1 game his true freshman season, so still kind of green, but obviously, I mean, he's... Let me get it up.
He looks like a center.
He looks like a center, yes.
He does. Looks like an NFL center.
Ben Finneseth, put that word in and tell your boy to slide.
That Durango pipeline is
Listed at 6'3", 310.
Honestly, a 4-star recruit coming out of Durango is crazy.
For real.
Facts.
Jacksonville State linebacker Reginald Hughes is visiting Colorado as well. He had a breakout season at Jacksonville State this last year. Spent the 2 years before at Ole Miss, but in 2024, 82 total tackles, 10 TFLs, 4.5 tackles for a loss. He was a decently highly rated recruit, but obviously bounced around to Jacksonville State, and now he's coming to Colorado. I think it's the weekend after this.
Very productive.
The weekend after this, yes. Next weekend, yep.
Need some LBs in.
Portal updates. Arizona's losing their entire football team.
Happened to Marshall too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Except for, I guess, the Marshall situation was like the team was pissed they fired the coach, right?
Think so.
I'm not too keen on that.
I think I didn't see the full story. I just saw the headline, but sounds like Marshall fired their coach. The team essentially revolted.
Wow.
And all entered the portal.
Well, it's basically happening at Arizona.
Crazy.
Tacario Davis has entered the portal. He was an second team All Pac-12 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a great season this year, but in 2023 had 15 passes defensed, had 6 this year, and 44 tackles, and no picks. Could have gone to the NFL.
He's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a future
And
pro
what,
right there.
6'3", 6'4"?
Give me a minute, I'll find it.
He's huge.
One of the best cornerbacks in the Big 12. One
Yep.
of the best DBs in the Big 12 this year, over the
Yep.
last couple of years.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
huge get.
And I mean, just imagine the length that you would have out at the cornerback position with DJ and him.
Oh, yeah.
Listed at 6'4",
6'4".
190.
Coach Prime say he love him 6'1" and up.
Dude, 6'4" is crazy.
And again, another thing I like about him is he been battling with arguably the best receiver in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Week in and week out, day in and day out for the last few years as well. He's polished.
Well, and he's specifically made to be able to defend guys like that.
Exactly.
We already talked about Jacob Manu, who entered the portal, one of their best linebackers. And then yesterday, Gunnar Maldonado entered the portal. He is a safety for them. He came in from Northwestern after spending 1 year there. Has been in Tucson the last 4 seasons. Only played in 4 games this last year, though. Had season-ending surgery in October. In those 4 games, 11 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 interception. But in 2023, had 81 tackles, 1 TFL, 2 picks, 1 pass defense, 2 forced fumbles, 1 return for a touchdown, 3 total recoveries.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Hunter has won the Paul Hornung Award for the 2nd consecutive season as the most versatile player in college football.
First ever to win it back-to-back years.
Add another first to the list.
Would you say he's making records, not chasing them?
I'd agree.
I think it's fair to say, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So shout out to him. The trophy
yeah.
case is getting stocked over the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, what? Someone at CU got to let us know, like, what are we doing? How are we designing the new trophy area?
I know.
Because
It's about to like double.
I was going to say, a lot of work to do on that.
yeah, because I mean, there's probably like, what, 15-ish trophies around that area? Maybe less?
Maybe less.
I mean, I guess you have to think because they have the trophy and then all the people that have won it above it. So maybe a little bit less, but
they've got like 2 Butkusses and 2 Thorpes.
right, that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
15-ish.
Yeah.
I just think that they're going to have to extend the hallway like around the corner
Yeah.
and into that other area. We'll see because, heck, you've got 3 just in the last 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
With-
Davey or the Johnny Unitas.
Yep.
The Horning, the lot. And then Travis is also up for the Bolitnikov.
Be announced tomorrow night.
The Bednarik. And
The
obviously
Maxwell.
the Maxwell and the Heisman Trophy. Is Shador up for the Davey O'Brien?
Yes,
Does that come out soon too?
that's tomorrow
sure.
as well.
Okay. So literally like at least 7 or 8 coming in. Robert Livingston was not listed as a finalist for the Broyles Award, though, as the best assistant in college football.
It's bad.
Can't win them all, but that's a damn shame. I'm not going to lie.
So the one thing I'll throw out there, though, is that the guys who were listed as finalists are all in the CFP.
Yeah, which again, kind of lame on the voters, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was Wilner who said like I
did.
didn't see a major
Right.
coordinator
Mm-hmm.
have a bigger impact on a team than Robert Livingston did. Like I had a couple of these in my head, but the one that's sticking out to me right now is Arroyo. He's the OC.
Yes. At
Like-
ASU.
That's Kenny Dillingham's offense.
Oh,
That's literally
sure.
why he was hired, was to go run the offense.
The full list.
That's like
Yes.
giving Andy Reid's OC like assistant of the year.
Right. Marcus Arroyo, OC at Arizona State. Bryant Haynes, DC at Indiana. Al Golden, DC at Notre Dame. Tim Banks, DC at Tennessee. And Pete Kwiatkowski, DC at Texas.
Oh, well.
Drelon Miller. We talk about NIL, right?
Yep.
And how it's ruining college football and all this stuff. I mean, not necessarily true, first off. But second, these are just the type of players and people that Coach Prime has been recruiting to Colorado. And it's just cool to see. He gave back to his hometown of Silsbee, hand-delivered 4 $1,000 checks. It was like his church, like an athletic facility he worked at. And then what else do we got? Silsbee.
Like a youth center or something.
Yeah, Silsbee Little Debbie's. I don't know what that means, but you basically get $4K back to his community as a true freshman.
Yeah. And I just love that. That's so cool, man. I think it says a lot about a person's character that, like, the first time that they are able to,
Yeah.
they want to take what they now have and give it back.
Mm-hmm.
That's just special.
Yeah.
And so huge shout out to Drelon for giving back to his community immediately.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's just really, really
That
cool.
tells me that's been on his heart and on his mind for a while.
Yeah.
And he probably felt like that. That first chance I get to do something, I'm going to do it. And good on him. That's awesome stuff.
And no one would ever blame you if you didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, last offseason was obviously crazy, but these are just the things the national media does not talk about when it comes to Colorado. Coach Prime going on Twitter, shouting out like Jordan O and Assad Wassim,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
saying what type of people they are, what type of players they are, what they can do for a football team. Like, no one else is doing that in college football and will have as big of a reach as Coach Prime does when he does do things like
Facts.
that.
And he knows firsthand the talent that those guys have.
Yep.
And also knows that it's really hard to get good offers when you don't have a lot of tape.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's going out of his way to try to help these guys.
Well, and for both of them, he said it was a numbers game when it came to them. Golf balls, if you will.
Exactly.
Let's take our final break. And then we have a few more things to talk about. Shout out to the homies over at Live Well. 25 locations across Colorado and your top destination for the best product selection.
Part of your pre-show routine?
No. Never has been. Contrary to popular belief, actually. But shout out to Live Well. They're the homies. They're everywhere out here in Colorado. They got tons of cool things, infused joints, infused blunts. Of course, flour, concentrates, edibles, all that cool stuff. Hit them up. You can also order online. Super quick and easy. Pull up the menu online, go through everything, see what you want, put it in your cart, check out. Literally just pull up to the dispensary. They hand it to you, and then you're just on your way. It's super quick. Mention code DNVR25 in store and receive 25% off one of these amazing products today. Some restrictions apply. Shout out to the homies at Live Well.
Also, shout out to Saturday Neon. We could go to the wide shot for a second. We'll show you our beautiful Saturday Neon, also known as Spirit. These things are amazing. If you have a man cave at your house or a, what does Allie call it? A she shed, you guys got to get one of these sick neon buffaloes. And that's not even the biggest one they have or the smallest one they have. So you can get the small one if you have just like a little office area that you want it for. Or if you're like us, can't show you all the way into the bar, but we have one that's like 5 feet wide.
It's massive. We have another one over there too.
It's huge. So check them out, Saturday Neon. Use the code DNVR for 10% off your order at SaturdayNeon.com.
All right, some other things around college football.
Can I add a couple
What do you got, bro?
potential portal targets?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one guy here in the Big 12 from UCF, tight end Randy Pittman.
Yeah, we talked about him a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Entered the portal yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Played 747 snaps this season, the most for any non-lineman on UCF's offense.
Wait, other players track their snaps too?
I guess
So would you say it's
bro.
a stat?
I don't know, bro.
Interesting.
Is he
Maybe.
just like a cardio merchant?
Apparently, he actually caught the football a little bit, too.
Oh, interesting.
So that's interesting. He had 32 catches for 416 yards, 2 touchdowns this season, 600-plus yards over the last couple of seasons. This is, again, another experienced guy, a pass-catching tight end. Again, would address another position in need. I would love to see Randy Pittman in Boulder. Another guy, too, I'm about to say a name. Let me know if this sounds familiar to y'all. J. Michael Sturdivant.
Oh, yeah. He played at UCLA.
Yeah.
He was at Cal before.
Weren't we watching a game where he was spazzing? I feel like we were watching a game. Maybe it was after a CU game during a post-game show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going off.
He was going off.
Yeah, no, he's sick.
He's nice. He wasn't super productive this year.
Yeah.
Only about 22 catches, 315 yards, 2 tugs, but he had two really good games, 100-plus yard games, one against USC. I think that was the game we watched, UCLA USC,
Yep,
where he
it
popped
was.
off, made leaping catches down the field, the contested catches, also had 100 yards against Minnesota earlier this year. Another guy who's 6'3", 205 pounds. Again, your prototypical ex-outside receiver, athletic, can go up and jump and get the ball. I would love to see J. Michael Sturdivant get into the mix in Boulder as well, UCLA transfer.
If he comes here, Justin Michael's going to need a new nickname because he'll be the new J Mike.
J. Mike, yep.
He's also from Texas, too, so
Let's go.
Yeah, he was a dog at 2022 at Cal. 65 receptions, 755 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, he was really good on that team.
hell yeah. Just 2 guys I caught my eye.
Nice.
Bill Belichick's in college football, guys. This came through 25 minutes ago from Adam Schefter. 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach Bill Belichick is finalizing a deal to become the new head coach at North Carolina. His father served there as an assistant in the 1950s.
Wow.
Legacy move.
Legacy move.
Oh, man.
Do you think it'll work with him?
What is work? That's what I want to know. What defines success?
Give me a minute.
First and foremost, did you guys see the clip that I posted of him talking on Pat McAfee?
Yes, bro. I swear to God, I quite literally almost did it because that clip's a couple of days old.
Yeah.
I quite literally almost did it when it came out with the screenshot of Bucky's tweet. Like, it sounds genius.
It sounds genius.
I literally almost retweeted with that. But I mean, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we saw it.
So
Speak on it.
First and foremost, essentially what Bill Belichick was saying to Pat McAfee a few days ago is that if I were to take a college job, I would make it a pipeline to the NFL. I would run it like an NFL program. I would bring in NFL coaches. We would have NFL habits. Does that sound familiar to anyone?
No.
Okay.
Never heard it.
When Coach Prime said it, it was actually criticized. People are going to say I'm just making this shit up.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually criticized. You can't do this with college kids. It's a different game. You can't just bring in all these NFL coaches to try to coach college players. Like, well, Coach Prime proved that you can and had a hell of a lot of success with a NFL offensive coordinator and NFL defensive coordinator. NFL influences all over your defensive line and offensive line throughout the entire team. So I think another trend that Coach Prime has kind of started and made people think was possible, especially in the NIL era where these players are a lot more like professionals. For the most part, the best players, or for 100% of the best players, are being paid like they're professionals.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit more of an emphasis on like acting like professionals. So I'll start there and then I'll get to why I don't like this later.
Success at North Carolina, I would define as consistently finishing 500 or above in a 10-win season every 10 years.
Yes, that he will be able to do that.
I think this is going to work.
Think it is?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's the greatest head coach of all time. I think he knows how to put people in position. I think he knows how to delegate. He obviously knows how to find talent. And I think people are going to want to play for that. He's going to have NFL connections like Coach Prime.
Yeah.
I think it'll work.
I'm unsure if it's gonna work. Bill Belichick coaching college football, coaching 17, 18, 19-year-olds.
I think you're about to say what I'm going to say.
I don't see that working out, especially when first off you have to recruit, which I'm sure I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna be able to recruit similar because, he did it with salary caps and, he was a GM for years. A really good one at that in the NFL.
Recruits.
And his name rings bells for sure. But I feel like, again, when you're talking about younger college kids they remember the latter years of Bill Belichick's 10 years as head coach of New England Patriots, which those years were not pretty. And again, I just think he's going to have a little bit of trouble, maybe not recruiting guys, but retaining guys.
Yes.
Because I don't know how... It's very easy to relate to Coach Prime, Deion Sanders.
Yes.
When you're 17, 18, 19-year-old, let's be honest, when more times than not, you're a young black man. I feel like it's going to be a bit harder to relate to a Bill Belichick at this stage of their lives. And again, that's not everything relatability between your players and coaches, but it plays a role, that's for sure.
So that's exactly where I was going. And I'll just expand on that a little bit. Almost every player who played for Bill Belichick says it sucked.
Yeah.
But we won.
Yeah.
Why did they win?
Because they had Tom Brady.
Thank you.
Let's be for real. Be for real about that, too. When you're talking about the greatest head coach, like, I'll put respect on his name for that. But before and after Brady.
Yes. And when Brady left, it was this big debate. Was it more Belichick or was it more Brady? Tom Brady won the Super Bowl in his first year with the Bucs.
Yeah.
So, Bill Belichick is a great coach.
Yes.
And I have a lot of respect for him.
Me too.
But the reason why it worked in the NFL is because they were always going to be good because they had Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
When in this day and age, when you can just up and leave and transfer whenever you want, it is going to be so hard to retain talent with that mentality unless you win big and win fast. And I don't know
not gonna be able to do that.
if he's going to be able to do that. And that's where the big difference is between Bill Belichick and Coach Prime. Because Bill Belichick can try to do a similar system to what Coach Prime is doing when it comes to building an NFL pipeline. But like you said,
can't do it like him.
You don't have the charisma. You don't have the likability. You don't have... I'm sorry, but I have a hard time imagining there's as much like reverence from recruits' families that there is for Deion Sanders of like, I want to go just so I can meet Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? Like, that's what parents are saying. Like, let's go on a visit to Colorado. I would love to be able to meet Deion Sanders. I think there's a much smaller percentage of people who feel that way about Bill Belichick. But to me, it just comes down to his like hard-ass attitude is going to be really hard to stick unless they win big and win fast. And the last point I'll make on this is like a lot of Bill Belichick disciples have tried to go other places in the NFL where you're dealing with more grown men and use the same exact kind of strategy, Josh McDaniels being one of them, and just ends up being hated by everyone around them because they're not able to win.
A lot of those guys.
I think you guys are looking at this completely the wrong way. He's not coming in there to like reset a culture and stuff. He's 72 years old. He's going to be there a handful of years. They already have this deal in place where Steve Belichick's going to come in and be that. Like Bill Belichick's coming in to like reestablish what it means to win at North Carolina for now and then pass it on.
See, I think that's lame too. Like, I feel like he only taking the job to get his son in.
Yeah,
and I don't like that either.
That's what it feels.
His name is Bill Belichick, bro. What do you mean?
I feel like I don't have any problem with people trying to set up their children for success, but that is what stuck out to me about this when one of the first pieces of reporting on it were like, Bill Belichick will only sign the deal if his son is given the head coach in waiting job. But Jake, all of that, you still have to be able to go out and attract and then retain talent. Yes. And I think it's going to be really hard for him.
And again, I feel like your point you made too, like when his kids nowadays that at the first sight of not going the way you wanted it to go, you can peace out. You can be like, I'm gone. I'm 4 games. I played 4 games. I'm gone. I'm redshirting. I'm transferring. I feel like that's going to happen a decent amount, probably more than other coaches when it comes to Bill Belichick, just because there's such a disconnect. And I feel like the relatability, that can't be understated. It's part of the reason why this Colorado football team was so tight-knit and looked so together on game day, I feel like, because they're a reflection of their head coach. I don't know how many guys Bill Belichick is going to be able to recruit that are a reflection of him.
Yeah.
All these kids that he's going to recruit literally watched him while growing up winning Super Bowls.
I don't know if that's true.
That's a fact.
I mean, so Juju, how many Super Bowls has he seen watch the Patriots win?
So minus 17 from where we are now. So after 2007, 4, 3.
Yeah, to me again.
But again, how old he was at that point too? Like he's super young. I don't know. I think
that they might be able to get the first step taken care of. Just getting people there.
Right. That's why I said retain. Yes. Retain. Yes. That's going to be difficult in the name of the game for him.
And then the last thing I'll say is like in college sports, charisma is about 100 times more valuable than it is in the pros.
Yes.
You can be a dick to the media all the time in the pros and just no one cares. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't like no one cares. In college sports it's different. You have to sell yourself kind of every time you're in front of cameras to make people think like I would love to go play for that guy or I would love my child to go play for that guy. And I do think there's going to be parents who think like, oh man, like this is going to be the best like disciplinarian like setup for my kid and it's going to be a no bullshit type of thing. And I think they will get guys to go there for that reason. I just think that it's going to be really hard to keep the top athletes if they're able to get the top athletes to keep them there.
Sure. And from North Carolina's perspective, this is probably the best that they could do, and I don't blame them for trying going down this avenue, but I'd be a bit surprised if it worked long term, I'm not going to lie.
Time will tell. Super chats. DJ Flame to you. What's up, gents? F them Chiefs. F the Jayhawks. That portal is portaling. Will Travis's brother be a Buff also? Thoughts? Feel the tight end position is, first off, Travis's brother's 2027. We have time. Travis, yes, we have time.
I mean, literally just saw the pivot where Travis has like, Coach Prime changed my life. He's a father figure to me, all of that. I think that there's a very good chance that the next Hunter will be playing for Coach Prime as well.
I feel the tight end position is going to be huge in the game plan next year. Yep.
Me too.
They're hitting it hard. Yep. Ja'Cory says, hey, fellas, should the Buffs go after Kyron Drones if he enters the portal? If he enters the portal, sure, why not?
Yeah.
DJ Flame to you again. People are weird. Watch the Pivot podcast with Travis on there. And the first comment in the chat was, I hope he got a prenup, Jesus. He is happy. Why do people want them to fail? He is happy. Ain't that enough?
People love meddling in other people's business.
It's crazy, bro.
Being a grown man or woman worried about what a college couple got going on is insane to me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, and regardless of how old you are, who you are, like trying to judge of people's entire relationship, which spans years off of one interaction that you saw, I feel like you got to look in the mirror at the relationships you've had and think, man, if there's a camera on every second of that relationship, even like if you've been married for 50 years, if you thought to yourself, if there was a camera on every second of our relationship and people caught one of the low moments, what would they be saying about us?
Facts. People be projecting, man. It's crazy.
Wayne says Jake knows ball. Thank you. Trench coaches. DDS. I don't know what that means. Travis forced fumble hit. Miss Peggy. Press conference. FDP is the MVP.
I think DDS is Dancy D. Loosap.
LSD is better.
LSD is definitely better. That was the one I was looking for earlier. LSD.
That'll be Colorado's defensive line versus BYU's offensive line. LSD versus LDS.
Yep.
Get that on the shirt.
Jordan and Travis with 2 super chats. He wrote something here. If CO is still paired with the Pac-12 teams for bowl purposes through next year, do we get any split of bowls other Pac-12 teams are in, like Oregon, ASU, etc.? I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know how that shit works.
No
Sorry.
idea. That it? This is RK's last show.
Ever.
No.
Miss you guys.
Wow.
It's been fun, bro. It's been fun.
This is RK's last show in Denver this week.
Yes.
We'll see him on
Where
Friday.
are you going?
I'm going to New York City a few hours before you guys.
Yes.
Just to make sure the pizza's like nice and hot. You know, I just want to make
man.
sure. I'm pulling a Mama T here.
Okay.
Gonna go, just make sure everything's set, everything's set up. I saw yesterday she's already in San Antonio.
Yep.
Just, laying the groundwork, making sure the Buffs are taken care of when they're down there. That's what I'm doing.
Damn.
Going one day, just a few hours early to see New York City, but then I'll see you guys there. I can't wait for people to just see what we have planned for the weekend, especially just where we're doing our show. It's going to be sick.
So, Scotty and I are going to hold it down tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Real quick, breaking news. Former New Mexico starting quarterback Devin Dampier committed to Utah.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
We'll be seeing that boy in the Big 12 next season.
He's got something to him. He's a good quarterback.
Yes, he does. And then who did Houston get?
Houston, Connor Wegman, Texas A&M transfer quarterback, was crystal balled to Houston today. So that would be another talented quarterback that the Buffs would have on their schedule next season.
I see you, Reef. It's crazy disrespect.
Really quick, I just want to say that Bill Belichick conversation we just had was awesome. I love when something happens in sports where we can just sit here, have a good, healthy debate about it. No one gets their feelings hurt.
Hell yeah.
That was great.
It's gonna be fun to watch. I can't wait when I'm right this time next year, because North Carolina is good and can play some real defense now.
All right. Like I said, I believe they can go over 500. I don't think that's...
Is that where the bar is right now?
I mean...
He said over 500 every year, then once in a while a 10-win season.
Well, that's just their history. I mean, their worst season, they went 6-6 last year.
Apparently, I don't know, this is from the chat, they're saying they're going to pay him $10 million a year. If that's the case...
Mac Brown was there from 2019. He won 7, 8, 6, 9, 8, 6 games. And Larry Fedora's last year, they went 2-9. They went 3-9 the year before that. They've had...
See, I'd be surprised if they went on a run better than those win totals that you just named off for Mac. What was that, like 7?
For Mac,
Yeah.
7, 8, 6, 9, 8, 6.
I'd be shocked if Bill Belichick won more than 9 games in a season at North Carolina.
North Carolina's had 4 10-win seasons in the last 30 years.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if he got to 9 wins or surpassed
He
it.
will bring them a 10-win season.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, put
I like
that
it.
on.
Over,
I
under,
disagree.
9.5.
Okay.
I like this.
All right. See? Yeah, it's going to be a fun show tomorrow. Tune in. We'll see you in New York, brother.
See you guys there. Let's go Buffs.
travels,
Go
bro.
Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.